George from Proven Results has been working really closely with us at HeatMaster, and they've been a fundamental pivotal tool in our arsenal to push us into the digital field. And so I could think of no one better to speak and work through this first point than George Cron. So you just welcome him to the stage here.
I'm going to be talking about a Southern Manitoba manufacturing success story, and that is HeatMaster. So two things that we did for HeatMaster. We started tracking the most important actions on their website, and we also switched to seasonal budgets for their marketing budgets. Start thinking about which of these two do you think were the top two most important actions that people took on their website and in other places. So the answer, when we put in our tracking, we could clearly see that people want to place a phone call to the dealer, so that was number one. Number two was kind of interesting because it was Facebook messages, so that might be a little bit different, like how does Facebook tie to manufacturing? We do paid online ad campaigns, and then so now that we see that these are the actions that people want to take, and it supports getting in touch with their dealers, then we start optimizing for those actions. So let's tie it back to the original question. How did this change in the digital era affect the customer journey and buyer process? So we can see that customers still want to talk to a human. That has not changed, but the way they communicate is changing. So people are shifting more and more towards social media, and people still want to do phone calls as well, but there are all these different mediums of communication that people want to use, and you need to go to where your customers are. So the next point, we switched to seasonal budgets. So here's a slide, a typical budget. Let's say you're planning your marketing budget for 2020. This is if it would be evenly distributed across all 12 months. If you kind of think about what your busy season and slow seasons are, it wouldn't make sense to spend more money during your slow season and limit how much money you're spending in your busy season. So this is before. This is what it looks like after. It looks like there's actually more money being spent here, but this is the exact same total annual budget. It's just being redistributed. So if we go back to this slide, that's evenly distributed. When we actually looked at the data, when we're tracking all of these important actions for the business, we can see this is when the busy season is for HeatMaster anyway. And it makes sense because in winter time, people are heating more, and it really ramps up there in January. So like I was saying, we track the actions. So the blurred out keywords in the upper left, those are their top converting keywords. So this is data that we pull from Google. And then we have a spreadsheet where we calculate all of the seasonal budgets. And then that way we're not guessing. And I know you guys know your businesses very well. You know when your busy season and slow seasons are. But if you can get actual data and pull those numbers of when people are actively searching, you can do it right down to the dollar where it makes the most sense to be spending your money. So with seasonality is another thing that I'd like to talk about is trade shows. I'm sure a lot of you probably go to trade shows and things like that. What we've heard from some business owners is that trade show attendance is kind of going down, and it's expensive to go to trade shows, so you need to maximize that as much as possible. What we have found is when we allocate some of those budgets to promoting trade shows, if you're going to specific trade shows, then what we do is we promote your specific booth and whichever product that you're going to be featuring there and any trade show specials. So we're adding that digital layer on top of the real world. You're going physically to the trade show. We're advertising that trade show online, and a great example is another company that we work with. People made a beeline for their trade show booth, and they said, I want to talk about this specific product, this model number. They have a few final questions that the person had to answer, and they placed the order right there at the trade show. So we've seen that it's very effective, and this is something that we're doing for HeatMaster now, is we're starting to promote some of their trade shows because of this success we've seen for this other company. So again, let's bring it back to the original question. How did this change in the digital era affect the customer journey buyer process? So we can connect your potential customers with you far more strategically and cost effectively than in the past. We're using your marketing dollars, your advertising dollars very wisely, and we can track everything and stop wasting money on things that are just burning your cash and actually shift that to what is very effective for you.